Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cordamt. We are back for some more Solasta with the Scourging of the Slave Lords user-made custom campaign. We are currently playing in the final module, which is the Pursuit of the Slave Lords. This was made by Mr. Silverquick. I always like to give props to the creator, because this is very well done. We had a very big fight in this region, which I loved. Against a bunch of Sorakath. And I think it's pretty much the end of this cavern. We also leveled up. We are now level 11. Let me just check if there's a resting spot. No, there isn't. And the way back is also blocked, so we have no way to rest right now. Okay. So, we're gonna proceed. I can see there's a door over there because the tab kind of spoils it.
Sometimes there is simply no choice.
This is true, we must go down. It appears the earthquake has opened up another cavern to the surface. You can feel the breeze of outdoor air on your face. Okay. And we also leveled up to level 11. Leave area. I'm not sure if these were the slave lords or if we're gonna still find them. I'm not sure. Intro. As you leave the cave exit, you turn to see the entire mountain off in the distance, covered in lava as the built-up volcano finally erupts. The lava flows from the mountain, slowly engulf what little remains of the ancient temple. Much to your dismay, the cavern exit has led to the surface near the site of your old base camp at the edge of the forest. You find your wagon and supplies intact. At last, it is time to make the journey home. It will be a long and arduous journey, but the Slave Lords network and base of operations is gone, never to rise again. Congratulations, you have completed the In Pursuit of the Slave Lords. Use the exit point to export your characters. Aw, man. So this means we've actually finished this. I could have just I could have just spent 2 more minutes in the last video and we would be done with this. But at least I have some time to talk about it, I guess. I am gonna level up. I don't care. If we leveled up, I'm gonna level up. I'm gonna see what level 6 spells I was gonna have. Okay, what would we get? As a 11-11 barbarian, we would get Relentless Rage, which means if we drop to 0 while raging, we don't die. We instead drop to 1 hit point. It's quite good. We also have a level up for our cleric Foxy. Turn Undead, Destroy. So just a better Turn Undead. Sylvanas. Ooh. You can use your action to make a ranged attack against any number of creatures within 10 feet of a point you can see within your weapon's range. You must have ammunition for each target, as normal, and you make a separate attack roll for each target. You can use your action to make a melee attack against any number of creatures within 5 feet of you, with a separate attack roll for each target. Okay, so this is actually pretty exciting. I'm kinda sad I didn't get to play with this. And in terms of spells, doesn't really make a difference. Just pick Wind Wall, I guess. I don't think there's anything else I can do here. So it shouldn't make a difference. Protection against fire? Ah, you can choose, okay. Take this. And finally, Mr. Tolgarius. Just spell slots, okay. And the spells we would get, arcane spells, and they're actually cool. We have True Seeing, which is kind of whatever. Glow of Invulnerability, again, kind of whatever. The Freezing Sphere sounds awesome. Toss a huge ball of cold energy that explodes on impact. For 10d6 damage. It's actually not that special then. But the range, 8 squares compared with 4 squares. So it's double the range of a fireball. Not bad, man. And Sunbeam is also pretty cool. You can just keep casting this every turn. It's pretty awesome. This one is weird because it says it costs 500 gold, but it's not actually consumed. I still didn't understand how this worked. And this is a lot of damage, but it's single target and can be negated. There's some fun stuff here. I think the best ones are probably Sunbeam, Freezing Sphere, and Chain Lightning. I would go for something like this, maybe. Or actually like this. This deals 68 Radiant. Every turn we can do this. So this is very efficient. And in terms of cleric spells, what would I get? Ooh, I would get Blade Barrier, Harm, which is pretty awesome. 14d6, Necrotic, Heal, Hero's Feast. Yeah, there's a lot of pretty cool things here. A lot of pretty cool things, to be sure. I would do something like this. Yeah. I would also probably remove Bane and... Bane and get Heal as well. Well, sadly, we do not have the chance to do this because we have finished the campaign. Let me just make a quick save here and just override my last save. And let's see the results. Now I'll just talk a little bit about the campaign since I don't want this episode to only last 5 minutes. In any case, this is the outcome. 10 days in this last module. 2 short rests, 11 long rests. This is kind of misleading. We didn't actually have... I mean, we did. The reason why we had so many long rests is because I spammed long rest in order to craft the sword that Berserker was using in this module. We didn't actually need to rest this much. In terms of our performance, yeah, it did feel like Foxy was missing a lot, but it's okay. Berserker with reckless attacks is gonna hit a lot more often than anyone else, which is awesome. Sylvanas did an awesome job the entire game. Ranger, definitely a very solid class. Tolgarius, he doesn't really need to hit that often because his AoE is gonna murder everyone. And just look, this is most damage from fireballs, from cones of cold, walls of fire. All those things do not target. So this is guaranteed damage. We killed 73 enemies. And over here, Sylvanas, she does do a lot of damage with her arrows and her daggers and the Hunter's Mark and all those things. But I'm guessing that most of this is probably from Spike Growth. Spike Growth is amazingly powerful in terms of an AoE spell, and this is just a level 2 spell on her. If you use this on a druid and you get some extra levels to your spell, it's gonna deal a bunch of damage every step the enemy takes. So very, very cool ability, and it's responsible for most of the damage we deal right here. It's an amazing area of denial effect. Denial of area? Area of denial? Something like that. Coupled with something like a wall of fire, insect plague, some kind of slow effect. It just makes for, especially if you can create a bottleneck for the enemies to come in, it's insane. It's gonna murder everything. All you need to do is wait and they will kill themselves. Foxy was always solid, always dealing some nice damage. The heals, also important, 640 healing over throughout the module. Very good character. 50% hit accuracy, doesn't matter, okay? She's my cleric, I don't really need her to deal a lot of damage. That's what these 3 guys are here for. She's support. She was also an amazing tank. by the way. Even while not dealing a lot of damage, she was an amazing tank. Other than this, in terms of enemy slain, it is to be expected, right? We have the most kills on my mage. Fireball is gonna murder a lot of people. Wall of fire, all those things are gonna kill straight up. A lot of kills from Sylvanas. She has a lot of last hits because she does a lot of damage. The spike growth also contributed a lot for my kills. So, all in all, perfect characters to take. Very, very strong. In any party you want to take them, always solid. The Ranger also perfectly can do the job of a rogue. You don't need to play with the rogue in Solasta. And that's actually something that... Well, I'm gonna correct myself. You don't really need to play with the rogue in 5th edition. Not just Solasta, okay? And 3rd edition also, it's kind of whatever. So, I mainly come from playing Baldur's Gate 1, Baldur's Gate 2, Icewind Dale 1. Icewind Dale 2 I only played recently because of the Enhanced Edition. But since I'm mostly used to Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale 1, they are advanced 2nd edition rule set, and if you don't have a rogue, a thief, not a rogue. If you don't have a thief, you're gonna have a bad time. Because you're gonna die to traps, you won't be able to open doors or locks in chests, anything like that. It just sucks not having a thief around. But in 5th edition, and also 3rd edition, not having a thief doesn't really make much of a difference. It's cool to play with a thief. If you check out my playthrough of Lost Valley and also Crown of the Magister, I use a pure thief. Well, you can't multi-class here, but in any case, you see where I'm going. I'm playing with pure thieves in both the original campaign as well as the Lost Valley DLC, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a very fun class to play with, but you don't need it. This is something that I feared, since in Solasta you can only play with 4 characters, and I really enjoy playing with 6. I'm kind of... I'm formatted, my brain is formatted to play the way that Baldur's Gate showed me how to play. And it's still my favorite playstyle, okay? I would rather have 6 people. But since this is turn-based, I can kind of see why they want less people. Maybe? I don't know. In any case, I was afraid of... Since I can only take 4 characters, I have to cut someone out in order to make some kind of change to my gameplay. Right? Because if I always want to go for my most efficient play pattern, I would always take a cleric, I would always take a rogue, a thief or a rogue, I would always take a wizard, and I would always take probably a fighter. Although barbarians are broken, so maybe a barbarian is better. And I would never really change. You see, I wouldn't have space for a druid, I wouldn't have space for a ranger, I wouldn't have space maybe for a paladin, because I don't want to take out any of my core characters, any of my core classes. But a ranger can do the job of a rogue perfectly. Even a wizard or even a barbarian, as long as you have enough dexterity, it's kind of irrelevant if you have a rogue or not. So these classes here, very solid. I'm pretty sure I could take out my cleric and bring in a druid. Although, I've gotta say, I played with a druid in the Lost Valley, and I do consider the cleric to be the very, very superior option. Okay? You won't really catch me playing with a druid again unless it's for some very specific reason or just for the sake of variety. Barbarian, like I said, I think the class is honestly broken, man. Rage, cutting all the damage you take in half, is insane. It's just an amazing tank. You can get a lot of AC just by having Constitution, Dexterity, and no armor. The damage you deal is pretty solid, especially with certain subclasses. This one, Path of the Claw, especially from level 10 and up, it does a lot of damage. So, it's a great tank, it has great mobility, it has great damage. It's a very, very solid class. Okay, this is an excellent frontliner. Probably the best one available. But I haven't played around too much with the Paladin, so I can't really compare it with the Paladin. But I do find it to be probably superior to a fighter. The playstyles are different. I find the fighter to be better at supporting the rest of your group, but I find the berserker, I find the barbarian to be better as a standalone, you know, standing on his own. I think he's a better tank. He probably deals more damage than a fighter as well. So very, very good. The wizard, I mean, I think it comes as no surprise. Any kind of Dungeons and Dragons game, arcane casters are king. They are amazing. Magic is amazing in this game. Maybe I'm just biased, but for me, playing with arcane magic, divine magic, it's the most fun I can get out of a game like this. I have fun with my martial classes, but magic is really the true source of enjoyment and variety to the play patterns. It's really, really enjoyable. So, if you guys are looking for a solid party to make, and you don't know which characters to create, there's a suggestion. Very, very solid lineup. You could very easily swap the ranger for a rogue. It does a very similar job. The rogue is more bursty. This one is more consistent damage. The other characters, my berserker could very perfect. God damn it, my barbarian could very well be a fighter or a paladin. It would be fine. I would probably keep my cleric, and I would probably keep my wizard as well. Of course, you can swap the wizard for a sorcerer. You have meta magic, but if you're trying to, if you want fun, and if you want big damage and effectiveness, I think it's really hard to beat a shock arcanist. They have more damage every time than any other mage or sorcerer. In my opinion, I think that's the case. They are more versatile than sorcerers due to the spell selection. And yeah, Arcane Fury is just an amazing buff. So yeah, definitely a very strong lineup. If you guys are out of ideas, go with it. Very good choice. Barbarian could be a fighter or paladin. Ranger could perfectly well be a rogue. Would not swap my cleric. Would not swap my wizard. That's my suggestion. In terms of the overall experience of this custom campaign, I will just repeat this. This is the Scourging of the Slave Lords user custom made campaign. This was made by a gentleman that goes by the name of Silverquick. It has 4 modules. The first one is the Haunted Keep of the Slavers. It's for characters up to level 4. The second module is the Assault on the Slave Lords. It's for characters up to level 6. Third one, the Stockade of the Slave Lords, for characters up to level 7. And finally, the fourth and final module, Pursuit of the Slave Lords, for characters up to level 10. This level range really is what it's meant to be. We finished the last fight, the final boss fight, and we dinged to level 11. We don't even get to play as level 11. You really are gonna stop at level 10. Unless you, I don't know, if you can't even grind because there's no random encounters. Yeah, so level 10 is your max here. And I think it's very fitting. In terms of the story progression, moving through the modules, I think it's very well done. I think the story is told in a decent way. It's a linear experience, but to be honest, I have no problems with playing a very linear game as long as it's well done. You're playing an adventure, your goals are clear, you're looking for the slave lords, you're freeing the slaves and the people you care about, and kind of disrupting their base of operations, and that's exactly what you do here. I think every module is well separated. I think the progression is well done, both in terms of difficulty, in terms of the enemies you face, the areas you explore. I think everything makes sense. I think the best part, the best part of this campaign is the gameplay. I mean, Solasta, the best part of Solasta is the gameplay. The Dungeons and Dragons rule set, its implementation in this particular game, the clear UI, the ease of use of the system. It's very well done. It's very enjoyable, the entirety of the combat. And this campaign was really well made in terms of the combat encounters. This is something that I really complained about in the Lost Valley. I think the combat encounters you have in the Lost Valley are mostly very underwhelming. You have a couple of fights there which are cool. Most notably that I can remember is the hag in the swamp. That's a cool fight. That's a cool area. But that's just a side quest. There's nothing else. And the hag isn't even a boss. She doesn't have legendary resistances. She doesn't have legendary actions. So if you check that fight in my playthrough, you're gonna see that Edwin, that's my sorcerer at the time, I was able to counterspell everything she did. So she was just another character hanging about in the area and just dying to random stuff. And then most of the fights were just against a large number of very uninteresting enemies. Pretty much all of them were fighter types, so it took a long time for them to swing, what's the word? Action surge, swing again. It's very uninteresting. There's nothing really challenging or interesting happening. You're just waiting for the enemies to finish swinging their weapons. Nothing else happens. The difficulty of the Lost Valley is also quite poor, and I also go into some detail about this in my previous episode in this very playthrough, because if you crank up the difficulty in the game options, all that's going to do is buff the enemy HP, buff the damage you take, buff their saving throws and attack bonuses. So it really feels like that artificial difficulty that a lot of games tend to do, which is the easiest way, and it's the way that gives the developers the least amount of work. But it's so crappy, man. It sucks so much. If I want a better challenge, and sorry if I bring up Baldur's Gate a lot in these conversations, but if you guys have played Baldur's Gate, especially if you've played it with the mod Sword Coast Stratagems, or SCS as it's most commonly referred to, that mod, to me, is the perfect implementation of added difficulty to a video game. There is no game that does it better than that particular mod for Baldur's Gate. It makes the game so much more enjoyable. It makes it so much more interesting. The gameplay patterns are varied. It's challenging. It's well made. You feel good defeating opponents. You know, everything is good about that. And in Solasta, that doesn't happen. The AI sucks. For the most part, it sucks. Sometimes it's not as dumb, but for the most part, it sucks. So, if the AI sucks, you have to do something else to make the combat encounters interesting. And buffing their HP isn't interesting. The fight just takes longer. Buffing the damage you take is not interesting. You just take more damage. Who cares? If you have a tank like a barbarian, the barbarian is not gonna die. It doesn't really make a change. And if the enemies are only focusing on the tank, who cares if your wizard is taking 100% damage or 150% damage? He's not gonna get hit. So, it doesn't matter. Again, it just makes the fight drag on a lot longer. And the problem with the Lost Valley is that most of your fights are against uninteresting enemies. There are a couple of them, like I said, which are a bit cooler, because it's also new enemy types, so it's kind of exciting to see them for the first time. like the Dryads, the mutated Minotaurs, the Bullet, what else? The Hags. That's cool. But this custom campaign that doesn't have any of those new enemy types does the combat encounters a whole lot better than the Lost Valley. Like it's a completely different experience. In this campaign, even with the sucky AI, the guy that did this, Mr. Silverquick, was able to make combat encounters interesting because you have enemy variety. The enemy placement is better. The combat arenas are more interesting. It allows the player to play with the surroundings and do fun combinations to defeat the combat encounters. You have several fights, especially in this last module that's very visible. The difficulty gets cranked up. And it's done so well. Because you have the right number of enemies, you have the right number of enemy types. I'm just kind of repeating myself here, but yeah, it's well done. The areas, the arenas, the enemy variety, their abilities, the number of bosses, also pretty cool. I kind of wish there were a bit more throughout the other modules, because bosses only appear in this fourth module. But I didn't even see a single boss in the Lost Valley. I don't know why. They existed in the Crown of the Magister, so why not in the Lost Valley? In here, they're very well done. So yeah, I'm gonna shut up about this because there's not really much else to say, but just to emphasize that this custom campaign did a much better job at providing entertainment, enjoyment, sense of accomplishment, and a general sense of, I don't know, overcoming a challenge than the Lost Valley does. Really. So big props to Mr. Silverquick. You did a very good job here, man. A very good job. If anybody is seeing this video at this point and hasn't gotten tired of me ranting about the game, I will say, if you guys are craving more Solasta action and you have nowhere to turn, try this custom campaign. Seriously. When I finished the Lost Valley, I was kind of sad and disappointed because I was very excited about getting to play more Solasta. The Lost Valley really, it's a different campaign, so more Solasta for me, that's good. But the entire experience, it had its fun moments. It can be fun to play through it, but the general feeling at the end is just it's underwhelming. So when I finished the game, I was like, God damn, this sucked. I want more. I want to play more Solasta. But Lost Valley doesn't accomplish this for me. So that's what motivated me to search for these custom campaigns, and I found this one, and I tried it out. There's possibly a lot other campaigns which are as good, better than this one even. I certainly hope so, because I'm looking forward to doing it. But like I said, if you're someone looking to play more Solasta, and you've already played Crown of the Magister, and you've already played the Lost Valley, and you don't feel like replaying them, this custom campaign, guys, awesome. It really hits the spot. I'm very happy to have played it. It's free. I picked it up in the Steam Workshop. If you have the GOG version, the GOG version, which I usually do have, I prefer to purchase my games in GOG. I'm not gonna go into DRM conversations here, it doesn't matter. But I have this game on Steam simply because when it came out, it only existed on Steam. And I actually picked this up in early access, which is also something that I never do, by the way. But I really enjoyed this game. I wanted to try it out, so I picked it up on Steam. And that's why I got the mod from Steam Workshop. If you are playing on GOG, I think there are different ways of getting this mod. Probably going to a mod site that you can download it or something, I'm not sure. In any case, I will leave in the description of this video, as well as the first video of this playthrough series, the link for this particular mod and how you can get it. And yeah, I think that's all I had to say. Very happy about it. I really enjoyed this. I hope some of my happiness and excitedness and enjoyment carried over the screen to you guys, because I really had a lot of fun playing this campaign, especially this last module. And I don't know, I'm gonna have to figure out what is the next game that I'm gonna play on the channel. I'm currently deciding between Temple of Elemental Evil, which is something that I also want to play, Planescape Torment, although I do believe that one is gonna take me longer because there's a lot of reading. I've never actually finished that game. I only played a couple of hours of it, and I kind of set it aside. But I do want to play it, and I think making videos for it will incentivize me and motivate me more to play the game and reach the end. And I also want to bring into the channel Pillars of Eternity 1 and Pillars of Eternity 2. PoE 1, I have already finished outside of videos. This was before I had a YouTube channel. But I did finish PoE 1 in the highest difficulty, Iron Man mode and all that stuff. And I really, really liked it a lot. That's also a game that I had picked up. I didn't really enjoy it the first time I played it, but then I tried it again and I really loved it. And then there's also PoE 2, which I also want to play, and that one I have never finished. I only played a couple of hours as well. I think I was having some trouble adjusting to the new gameplay, and also I kind of set it aside and didn't pick it up again. But I want to do that as well. So, I don't know which one is going to come to the channel next, but it's going to be one of them for sure. So, as always, my friends, thank you so much for sticking with me in the channel, watching some Solasta, and, you know, putting up with my rant and semi-game review. I hope it helps you guys in some way, or just enjoyment. If you guys have any questions, suggestions of other user-made campaigns that you guys have played through or you heard about and think it might be cool for me to play and put on the channel, by all means, leave a comment. If you want to share your experience, if you've played this campaign, or if you've played any other campaign, or even about just the main game or the Lost Valley, anything at all, leave a comment. I love to interact with you guys. And lately, my channel has been growing a little bit. I'm currently at 80 subscribers, I'm very happy. And more comments have been coming in, and I have a chance to talk to you guys, and I really like it. I really like hearing what you guys have to say about the videos, about the gameplay. There was someone that who told me that my videos motivated them to make a new playthrough of Baldur's Gate 2, and that makes me very happy, honestly. So yeah, leave a comment, just saying hi if you want. If you want to get notified about other videos coming to the channel, be it more Solasta, be it a different series, whatever comes next, feel free to subscribe. Like I said, it's a free and easy way to support my channel. It helps me out, and I'm bringing in videos every single day. And I hope to see you guys in a future video. Until then, stay safe, everyone.